Former NHL goaltender, now Sportsnet Hockey Night in Canada broadcaster Kelly Hrudey here this morning, a friend of Breakfast Television, of course. We're talking about something much more important than hockey today, though, mental health. And Kelly, mental health in young people, which it seems to be a really, really big issue for you that you're kind of taking by the horns and running with to talk about, right?
Well, it's something that's been in our family for a long time. So I was thinking about it on the drive down this morning. So it was at around this time, 13 years ago, that we recognized Caitlin, our youngest daughter, had an issue. So she was 12 years old at the time that she was diagnosed with OCD and anxiety. But it was a year before that where we started to notice some problems. And Ted, I have to admit that we missed all the signs. We partnered with a bank in 2013 when Caitlin came out sharing her story. And they had Know the Signs, and I think they had 5 of them.
Okay.
And the night before we were going to come out and share Caitlin's story, Donna and I was in St. Louis working. We had a phone conversation. I think we came up with 12 or 13 signs that we noticed every sign individually, but we didn't put the whole package together and recognize soon enough that she had some issues. So we're happy to say that she's had some help, and she has the tools to have more good days than bad, but she has had some setbacks, and so she's a fighter, and that's what everybody has to recognize, and there's no shame in having a mental health issue.
And I think you hit on a key word there, is from generations past, like yourself as a professional athlete, myself just working through school and that type of thing, the generations did not talk about this. You're bringing a bit of shame on your family. Don't do this, you're embarrassing the family. But now we've come full circle, and it's very, very popular and important to talk about this.
It's really important, and this discussion is interesting because we've watched the change. So like you said, many years ago, families certainly wouldn't have shared their story. And I don't know how people got by or got through in a day. I really don't. Oh my gosh, with all the struggles. But having said that, since we've been sharing our story, there has not been a day, Ted, that I don't either get text messages, an email, a phone call, or run into somebody in my local coffee shop that doesn't share a story with us.
That's great.
And it's really heartwarming. And so whenever I get a proposal like this about the McMahon luncheon we're going to have on Friday, if my schedule allows me, I go and speak about it. And Caitlin often joins us, and she's beautiful at sharing her story, far more eloquent than I could ever be. But so I think it's really important, especially this time of year, because there's a lot of stress on families right now with going back to school and so on, what everybody's going through, that we have this discussion and make sure that, you know, you can share your stories and you're going to be okay.
And the luncheon is happening this Friday, and we have ticket information coming up in just a second here. The Adolescent Mental Health Matters Luncheon, but there's also a mental health campaign that you're teaming up with called I Got Mind, which is kind of starting in October. And tell us about that.
Okay, so a friend of mine from the hockey world, Bob Wilkie, he was, like myself, a second rounder that played in the National Hockey League for a while. And he ended up having some issues also. And so, I don't know, about 4 years ago, he wrote a book. It was amazing. It was about his experience on the Swift Current bus that crashed many years ago. Tragically, 4 lives were lost. But Bob came up with this great concept, I Got Mind. And I was curious to see what this program is all about and what he's trying to do. And so I followed him around for a couple of sessions, and he has them with minor hockey teams. Fascinating work. It's stuff that I'd never seen before, things that I don't know if many people had ever considered. Instead of just sort of powering through and, hey, just get through this or whatever, you know, you have a tough hockey player. It's a really thoughtful approach to getting the best out of players, and it has certainly a good mental health component to it. Now, I'm going to be on part of the tour. Certainly with my schedule, I can't go to every single event across the country, but it's something I'm very excited to partner with Bob. Okay,
the I Got Mine tour starts in October. The Adolescent Mental Health Matters Luncheon is this Friday at the Petroleum Club. I think doors open at 11. Kelly, of course, is the keynote speaker. You can get tickets, by the way, at mcmancalgary.ca, M-C-M-A-N, Calgary.ca. Get some tickets, buy a table if you can, and come on out and support the cause. And, and as always, thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah,
I know this is very near and dear to your heart, right, with Caitlin, and you know what, so many athletes and so many people, just, you know, public general.
All of us.
Go through all of this, right?
Absolutely.
Good stuff. Thank you, Kelly. And good to see you, too.
Thanks, Ted.
Looking forward to the hockey season as well coming up. Good to see you, Kelly.